Hello, very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on time and back to another Amazon Live webinar. So that was just a short video introduction about selling on Amazon, and today we'll be touching on this topic about account registration and guidance. I hope everyone can hear the audio well. If not, you might want to re-log in to the platform, okay? So today, I'm Chin Liang here, and then I will have Ivan as well to share with us about the account registration process in a step-by-step manner. So this will be very helpful for those who are planning on getting your account set up and to start selling on Amazon, as well as for those who have other questions that you may need help along the way. Do feel free to use the Q&A box. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start right now, and then we will take the questions, the Q&A questions at the end of the session. I saw a couple of questions in already. Thanks for sharing those questions. All right, and then for those of you who have shared your questions during the registration, I've also noted it down, and we'll go through at the end. So if I miss out any of the question, if you just signed up not long ago, I may have missed that out, and I may need you to put your questions into the question box again. So, all right then, good to see everyone back. We can proceed on to the topic now. Welcome to another session of our Amazon Live webinar. Today, the topic is about account registration guidance, specifically for selling on Amazon US. So my name is Chin Liang. I'm the trainer here in Amazon Seller Education. And then today, I'm very happy to have Ivan, our sales operation manager from Amazon Global Selling, to walk us through the account registration process. All right, let me go on to the next slides. So the session will be recorded, and then you can find it in our official YouTube playlist after the session. So once again, if you have any question, let us know in the question box on usually on your right-hand side. And then for the information that we are sharing today, it is accurate as of today. So always refer to our online resources, such as Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated information. All right, take a short read on the important notice. Now I'm going to pass the control to Ivan to continue to walk us through the rest of the presentation.
A bit of an important notice, just take into account that the information that is shared over here is confidential and proprietary to Amazon. So if you do want to take some screenshots or photos, do feel free, but do keep them to yourself. All right, so without further ado, let's kick it off. And if you have any questions, just either put them in the chat, or we will have an FAQ at the end, right, where we will be answering any of your questions. So do let us know. So I'm going to be running through what it takes to open up a seller account on Amazon, and specifically we're going to be looking at the professional selling plan today, right? So right off the bat, one of the things that we want to present today is that we are running a promotion, right, that started in October 4th, 2023, and will end in April 3rd, 2024. And this promotion essentially gives you the ability to choose the professional selling plan, and instead of paying $39.99 a month, you will just pay $1 for the first month. And then for the subsequent 5 months, you will pay $0, right? The really good thing about this professional selling plan is that it gives you access to many tools that are not available in the individual selling plan. So some of these tools are listed here on the right-hand side, such as brand tools, A+ content, or even information tools like Amazon's product opportunity, where you can see how specific ASINs are performing on our Amazon marketplace, right? So do take note of this promotion. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we're giving to all the new sellers. So please start registration and launch your store as soon as possible. these are a couple of the new seller incentives that we have, right? So you have 120 days of free storage for if you choose fulfilled by Amazon. You have a 5% rebate in cash, in sales cash rebate. And then we also give $200 in order to kickstart your first reviews. We call this Vine reviews, right? And also $50 Amazon ads credit for you to start using sponsored products and start ranking up these ASINs into a good index position. Right, so this is a bit of a fee discount, right? So this essentially professional selling plan fee waiver, as I mentioned before, will run for 6 months, and it's active for 6 months after you register an account. Right, so instead of paying around $240 on your first 6 months, you merely pay $1, which is a lot of savings, and we believe that this is a very big help we're giving, especially to new sellers, which might have a bit of capital constraints at the very beginning of their selling journey. So of course, the eligibility is if you're from Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. And it's if you want to start selling in one of the stores in North America, so United States, Canada, or Mexico. All right, so if you have any questions about the fee waivers, again, just jot them down and we'll answer them as soon as possible, right? But kicking it off a bit more into the specifics on what it takes to open a selling account, this is going to be the content that we are going to run through in the webinar today. So we're going to start off by how to start an Amazon selling account and the whole registration process, such as what are the documents that you need and how to go through the registration form. Right, and then we're going to give you a bit of an insight of the seller identity verification, that it's an identification that all sellers needs to go through before starting their selling journey. Also the in-person verification, and also some other verifications such as the address verification or the post-seller identity verification. So all these terms might sound a bit new to you guys, but we are going to run through these terms over this webinar. And if you still have any doubts after, again, we're here at your disposal to answer any questions. So first step, which is starting an Amazon selling account. It is important to note that there are two types of selling accounts. One is the individual and the other one is the professional. Right. So the main difference between the individual and the professional is, first of all, with the individual, you pay $99 per item that you sell, and then you essentially pay every time you sell an item. Right. So as soon as you sell more than 40 units a month, it makes a lot more sense to go onto the professional account, which is something that we advise sellers to do. Also because the professional selling account has all these additional features that are not available in the individual selling account, such as I said before, this seller ASIN Opportunity Explorer, which gives you a lot of insights on whether an ASIN is performing well or not, for you guys to know what categories or what products to launch in order to start selling more, right? So this, as I mentioned before, this professional selling account, instead of paying $39.99 for the next 6 months, you're only going to pay $1 for this type of account, right? So highly recommend that you guys opt in for the professional selling account. So this is a bit of a roadmap of what to expect during the registration process, right? So first of all, again, step number one is registering. And then once you've submitted all the information, you've keyed in your particulars, uploaded the documents, you will go through a seller identity verification. And this is when our associates in the background are going to check the information that you have provided and the documents that you have uploaded to see if the information matches. If it matches, great. If it doesn't match, we will get back to you asking for some additional information. Once that's passed, there is an in-person verification call. And this is going to be a video call that you will have to do with one of our Amazon associates. And this Amazon associate is going to ask you a couple of questions. And it's just some questions to verify again that the information that you have provided is accurate. We're also going to be asking you a couple of questions on the actual documents that you have uploaded and seeing if you have a physical form of document, right? So I'm going to get more into the details once we get to that step. Now, step number 4 is an optional, and by optional, it's on Amazon's side optional, meaning that some sellers are triggered and some sellers are not triggered, right? So if you are triggered, the OTP will send you a physical postcard to the address that you have keyed in the registration form. And this postcard has an OTP inside, which you're going to have to open, check the OTP, and key it in the registration site. These postcards usually take between 1 week to 3 weeks, depending if you're in a heavily urbanized area or if you're a bit more in the outskirts of a major metropolitan area, and maybe our delivery service might take a bit more time, but it's usually between 1 to 3 weeks. Once you pass that, you will have access to the Seller Central platform, and we're going to ask you to do a couple of information there, where it's basically on a tax questionnaire to see if you are a US resident or if you're not a US resident, and then key in your bank account details, which is how you guys will receive your funds if you start selling on Amazon. Right. And step number 6, again, it's what we call seller performance review. We've had some cases where after going through all these steps, some sellers still need to require some additional information because our team has identified some discrepancies. So if you fall under that cohort of sellers, don't worry, we're going to go through the types of documents that we're going to be asking, so make sure to have them handy. So registering your Amazon selling account and essentially what to expect. So the first screen that you're going to go when you start registering an account is what we call the business information screen. And this is asking you a bit more about the information or the business that you are trying to set up. Right, so we're going to ask you, where is your business located? Right, so this is very important to note that even if you are going to be selling on the North America marketplace, you are still going to be set in a Southeast Asian country. So the business location that you have to key in is either Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, Cambodia, or any of the other Southeast Asian countries, right? Again, even if you're selling in North America, you are still set here, so that should be your business location. Then we go on to ask about the business type, right? So this is where you can be a publicly owned company, a privately owned company, or you might not even have a company at all and you just want to sign up as an individual, and that's perfectly fine, right? So we don't differentiate whether you're a public, a private, or an individual. All type of sellers are welcome in Amazon to start selling. Of course, if you do select that you own a company and you want to start selling with that company, we are going to be asking you for the business name. And it's important to key in the business name that you have registered with your government, right? If you are an individual, we're not going to be asking for your business name, but we will be asking you for your first, middle, if any, and last name. Then we're going to what we call seller information. So here we're interested to know who is the user registering the account, right? So even if you are a business and you're registering on behalf of a business, we still want to know who is the person who is registering on behalf of that business, right? So again, here we ask first name, middle name, and last name. And then we ask a bit of information in terms of country of citizenship, country of birth, and the date of birth, right? You're also going to have to select here the type of document that you want to submit. So in the registration interface, you're going to see that we accept passport and driver's license. We also accept national ID, even if you don't see the option in the UI. You can still click driver's license and then submit or upload the national ID. We are also aware that some driver's license or some national IDs do not necessarily have the expiry date on them. So if you have one of those IDs that does not have the expiry date, don't worry, just select a dummy expiry date and our team in the background are going to take care of that. Then we also ask about the residential address. And this is very important because this is going to be the address that we are going to be using if you are triggered for the Postcard OTP. So do check it 2 times and make sure that the address you key in here is correct. The third page is going to be the billing page. So this is where we need to have a credit or a debit card on file. We're not going to be charging you any $39.99 US because it's a fee waiver promotion time. You will just be charged $1. And I want to draw your attention to this blue square that we have over here in the registration website, right? In a nutshell, what this blue square tells you is you will only be charged once, right? In this case, you will not be charged because there's the fee waiver, but you will then not be charged any money until you have an active listing. So say that you start you start your registration account and you start your selling journey today, but you don't start or you don't have an active listing until 8 months after you register the account, you will not be charged that $39.99 while you still have access to all the amazing tools that we have to offer. We do this in order for the seller to get used to the platform and also use our tools to know exactly what to sell and what makes sense. Right, so again, we do need a credit card on file or a debit card on file, and this is simply to verify that you do have a credit card. Now, very important, you're going to see the billing address here on the bottom. This billing address will be copy-pasted from the previous section where you keyed in the residential address. Now, we are conscious, right, that some sellers might not have their billing address be the same as the residential address. So in case the billing address that you see here is not the same as the one you have with your bank, do add a new address and make sure that the billing addresses that your bank has on file and the one that you keyed in here are also matching. We then go on to the store and product information. So here's where we ask you to key in a store name. Now, you might not have a store name at the beginning when you're trying to register, so you can key in a dummy store name. You are going to be able to change the store name after you have access to our Seller Central platform. Okay, and subsequently what we ask is a bit of the information of the products that you might have on hand at the moment and that you want to start selling, right? So some of the information that we ask is if you have UPC codes, if you are the brand owner or the manufacturer, and if you have a trademark for the product or the brand that you will start selling on Amazon. Now, again, here we know that some people still don't have a product, right? So if you do not have a product yet, it's perfectly fine to continue your registration, but just key in that you do not have UPC codes, you're not the brand owner at the moment, and that you do not have a trademark at the moment, right? So after submitting all this information, this is when the seller identity verification, or SIV in short, starts. And this is when I'm going to show you how the UI looks and where we ask you to upload some of the important documents. So essentially, there are 2 types of documents that we require in order to start selling. First is an identity proof, and this can be a passport, a driver's license, or a national ID. And then we also ask for a bank account or a credit card statement, right? And this is to verify the address, right? So do make sure that when you submit these documents through our portal, right, they are in high definition, they're colored, there's no obstruction when you're taking the photo or the scan, and if in case you're submitting the passport, it needs to have the signature, right? So do also make sure that the documents are in one of the following languages, which is the ones that we currently accept, right? If you do not have the documents in this language, you will have to get a notarized translation before you submit the documents, okay? And the documents, of course, cannot be expired. As a matter of fact, we ask that for the bank and credit card statement, it had to be issued within the past 180 days, right? So if you want to take a screenshot of this page is really important in order to have a smooth seller identity verification. So this is how the registration seller identity verification page looks like. You will be asked to upload the document through these buttons, and then you can select the file, right? And you're going to have a section for the identity documents and then a section for the proof of address, which can be your bank account or the credit card statement. This is very important, right? So if you do submit or select that you want to use your passport as a identity proof, we have here a couple of samples on how to submit your passport, right? So we've given here the examples of different Southeast Asian countries, and it's really important for a couple of reasons. So first of all, you will have to submit the page of your particulars and the signature page. Right. So in the case of Malaysia, Singapore, and I believe that for Philippines, the signature and the identity particulars are within the same pages, so it's easier to scan. We're aware that for Singapore and Indonesia, the signature is on the first page and then your particulars are in the second page. So if you are in Singapore and if you are in Indonesia and you choose your passport as an identity proof, do make sure to submit both scanned pages, right? I cannot emphasize this enough. This is our main reason why our sellers might not get through the seller identity verification in Singapore and Indonesia, and it's because they do not submit the signature page. So please, please, please submit your signature page, okay? These are some examples. Here we have the passport from the Philippines and also Indonesia, which shares the same issue with the Singapore passport, where you have the signature on a different page. So please submit both pages. Uploading the bank statements. This again is going to be in the section below where you can update your identity documents, right? So very important. 108 days of issued from the time you're issuing it, and it has to be in one of the approved languages, which is Chinese, English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, or Spanish. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, very important, do take note. If you don't have it in these languages, as I said before, you will have to get a notarized translation and upload the notarized translation also. Right, so after you have submitted the documents, and let me go back here, after you have submitted the documents and you've pressed the next button, right, you will be in a 48-hour page where it's essentially going to let you know in 48 hours if you have passed the verification or if you haven't passed the verification. So the majority of sellers do pass the verification, but there are some cases where you haven't passed. If you haven't passed the verification, you usually get one of these two alerts. Either one where it says that the information provided needs to be corrected, and this is when the document that you have uploaded versus the information that you have keyed in into your seller identity verification do not match. So the name has to be exactly the same, check the numbers, check the expiry date of anything, so do make sure that the information is exactly the same. If you get your second alert, which is enabled to verify account information, this means that either you have submitted the information too many times and it's always wrong, right? And if you do have this issue, take note of this email that we have here, trms-siv-sesunor@amazon.com, and state your issue with SIV and what is happening, right? And then seller support will get back to you and letting you know the path forward on how to proceed with your registration. After all that is done, and hopefully all of you will pass seller identity verification, there is what we call the Amazon in-person verification. And this is essentially a video call. We have actually two options now. One is the video call, and then the second one is a couple of pictures or a selfie picture of your face and your identity document. You can choose, right? But if you select the video call, this is when it is an instant call, right? You might have to wait 1 to 6 minutes, as it states here, or you can schedule an appointment in a future date, right, between 2 to 7 business days. I highly suggest you go with the instant video call. It is really fast, and like this, you get it out of the way earlier. Right, so some of the information that you will have to have handy before you start the call is just make sure that the appointment time or the time that you have selected the instant call is suitable for you to speak, right? So make sure that the device that you're using has the necessary software. And that means you just need to have a webcam and a microphone, right? Because it will be a two-way communication and you will have to share your video. Make sure you're in a quiet spot. So don't do it while you're in the public transport. Do it when you're at home with no interference with other people or any force majeure outside of the call, right? Because you will have to hear what the associate is asking you and answer the questions that they're asking you. So very important, you will have to have on hand the information that you have provided, right? So for example, the identity document that you have provided, a copy, a photo, or a scanned copy, you will have to like show it in the webcam and actually show that it is a real document, right? We want to check that the document that you have actually submitted is actually legitimate. So once you finish the call, which usually lasts anything between 2 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on the amount of questions that the associate might ask you, we usually take 2 business days to fully approve the seller, right? And once you have passed what we call the IPV, you will have access to Seller Central, which is again the platform that you guys will use to start selling your products. Now, in the occasion, right, that you will be triggered a postcard address OTP, you will be directed to another screen, and this is what it's going to look like, right? So we're going to let you know when the postcard has been dispatched and when is going to be the estimate delivery for the postcard, so that you know more or less how you can or when to expect these postcards, right? So once you've received the postcard, you will open the postcard and you will key in the number, the OTP that is inside the postcard, right? So we give you 3 attempts, right? So in case you don't receive it, or you were not at home when you were trying to deliver the postcard, or you missed it for some reason, you have 3 attempts, right? If you exhaust all your 3 attempts and still haven't managed to pass the OTP for XYZ reasons, you can get in touch with our SPS team through a support button there is in the website, and you can again state your issue and the reason why you didn't make it for the 3 times, and then we're going to send you a new OTP. Post-seller verification. So once you have access to Seller Central, I mentioned before that there are a couple more pieces of information that we need from you guys, right? So first one is going to be the deposit method, and this is your bank account details or the account details where you want Amazon to deposit the money once you start selling, right? So we as Amazon need to know where we need to pay you guys if you start selling. So this is the moment to key in your bank account and make sure that the information is correct. Second of all is the tax identity information, right? So as you will be selling in the United States or in a North America country, Amazon needs to know if you are a US resident. And that's for simple reasons. If you are a US resident, you will be asked to file your income tax in the United States. If you're not a US resident, you just need to state that you are not, right? And you will be exempt from filing taxes in the United States. You will, of course, have to file taxes in your countries, but that is completely up to the seller on justifying their own income taxes in their countries, and it's not. There is no Amazon obligation to report to the US any activity. Right, so again, this is only for U.S. citizens. You're still going to have to complete it, but we just want to know if you're a U.S. citizen or not. Okay, right. So deposit method. You will click on the small square. You will be taken to this website or this website page, right, where you're going to ask the account holder's name, the routing number, and the account number, right? So these are very simple information that you can find in any of your online banking apps, or if you don't have online banking and you want to make sure, just call your bank and make sure that they give you the necessary information. But 99% of the cases, this information that we ask in order to give you your sales proceeds is usually found in a couple of clicks on your banking app. And the tax information, as I said before, is how it looks. Again, it's the box, and once you click, it's just a matter of clicking a couple of questions and asking you, are you a US resident? Are you an individual? And then you just press submit, and that's about it. Amazon Seller Performance Review, also known as SPR. So in the event that you have completed all SIV, you've completed your bank account, you've completed your tax identity information, and after a few days of you using Seller Central, you get this pop-up, which is going to show your account is being deactivated. Don't worry, right? It's completely normal. Many sellers face this issue, right? You're just going to have to click here on reactivate your account, and you will just have to follow the steps, right? Usually the reason why SPR is triggered is either because it's a dormant Amazon selling account, meaning that you haven't accessed the account in 1, 2, 3 months. You try and upgrade or downgrade your selling plan, and we need to make sure that that was the decision that you were making. Or if you want to change the registered address that you have used when you initially registered your account, right? So do make sure that your account is always active. So what are the documents that we usually ask during an SPR, right? Usually we ask for a utility bill, right? Because this is the easiest way for us to prove that the person that is behind the account or wanting to sell actually matches with the address that they placed on our Seller Central account, right? So any utility bill going from water, electricity, gas, or any telecom or internet is also fine, right? So again, this follows the same protocols as all the documents that you upload to Amazon, meaning it has to be in one of the languages that we state here. This time it has to be issued within the last 90 days. And again, please make sure that it is high quality, colored, and it's unobstructed when you take the photo. Okay, some of you might be saying, oh, I might have a utility bill, but it's not under my name. It's under my landlord's name, or it's under my parents' name, or it's under my spouse's name, or it's under the business name. That's completely fine, right? So as long as you have a justification, right? And here are the different documents that we accept in order to verify the relationship you have. So for example, if it's under your parents' name, you're going to have to submit your parent passport or birth certificate. If it's under a corporation name, just submit the business license, right? That is applicable to your country, right? So once you click on reactivate your account, you will see that it's under performance notification. Just follow the links and it will ask you to submit a button where you can upload the necessary information. Right, so this is another view on how to access your account deactivation status. Right, so under the top left of Seller Central, you're going to find the menu. You will click on the menu, go down to performance, and then under performance notification is where you will receive all the notifications that Amazon sends out to you as a seller that are time sensitive. Right, so as you can see below, one of the notifications here says your selling on Amazon payment account has been deactivated, right? And you can click directly on the button and it will guide you on how to reactivate your account. This is a sample message that you might get under the seller performance notifications, right? We explain a bit of the reason and what you have to do, and then we also provide a link that you will have to press in order to submit your documents. Right, so again, I've went through this, but it's very important for you guys to really take note of the criteria that we use, right? So again, any utility bill, electricity, water, gas, or internet bill are accepted, has to include all the pages, has to be issued in the last 90 days, and the information must match exactly on the details that you have on Seller Central. So do look at the name on your utility and the address on the utility. Make sure that they match exactly. Okay. Sometimes in the SPR, after you have submitted your utility bill, there is an additional information that or identity check that we ask, and this is repeating what we've done with the registration. You're just going to go on to a very short call with our associates that usually lasts between 1 to 5 minutes, and he again will ask you a couple of questions just to ensure that the person managing the account is still the same person who submitted the documents. Okay, so that terminates the current information about the registration. I'll hand over back to you, Junliang, on the Q&As.
Welcome back everyone to the most exciting part, which is the Q&A. So you have seen we have responded to quite a number of questions already. We will read it out later as well, so that for those who are watching the recording, we'll be able to know what's the question asked. Now, if you have more private questions, you can ask us as well. We won't be sharing those questions if we see you are providing any form of like private information such as email or etc. Right? Now, before we go into the question that we receive, there are some guides that we're going to share. So there's a PDF from, or rather one-pager guide from the Salon University, where we guide you through the registration, which is essentially what Ivan had shared earlier on. Not really one pager, but a list of pages in a more detailed steps if you were to ever need it. And also for those who managed to already started your registration and already get it approved, you can start looking at the Perfect Jumpstart and Launch Playbook, which we will share with you on what you can do for the first 90 days upon getting your account started with you. We have more webinars upcoming in the month of January. All right, do sign up if you have not. And then I know in the past we used to have a lot of QR code. Now I have condensed into just one QR code. So in that QR code, you will have a list of these useful resources that I gathered. And then from time to time, I may update new information there. So the guide that I shared earlier on, the Perfect Jumpstart as well as the registration guide is also in this QR code right at the bottom of it, so you can go on and download it. All right, so I'm gonna read through the question that I received earlier on for the benefit of those who are watching the recording. And then do keep your questions coming in. All right, we are still here to take live questions. Right, the first question from Francis. Now the question is, I would like to apply for US FDA for US market for foodstuff. How to proceed? Right, so thanks for this question, right? So I share a link. In fact, the link can also be found. Once you get access, you just need to search for the compliance requirements or compliance document. It will point you to the link. So again, this one really depends on what type of food product. It's very, there's a lot of food product, whether it's chilled, organic, or baby food product, etc. So once you're on that link, click on the type of food product that you are planning to sell, and then it will show you, what are the documents that you will need to have. Now, alternatively, you can also list it first, putting in all the accurate information, and then it will also get detected that your product meets the compliance or requirements for certification, and then it will prompt you to get the right certification as well. So that's one way. Now, of course, if you know what you need to have to get started first, that will save you a lot of time. Okay, next question. I have problems in setting up my Amazon.com, especially shipping issue. Would it be possible to get sales executive to assist in this area? All right, so this one I've responded already. So thanks for sharing your details. So you can send your information to the email that I will share in the chat box later. All right, so this one, yep, depending on what issue you are facing, we need more details. And again, so I'm not sure whether you have finished the setup process or if you have shipping issues. And like what Eva mentioned, once you get past through the SIV process, do check your email or junk mail. There should be a email reaching out to you from your account manager. All right, so that can help you in terms of if you need more information regarding your shipping inquiries. Right, the next question, something that maybe I may need Ivan help as well. What is your recommended seller of record? I am the representative of a company that plans to sell in Amazon from Philippines. Should I use my personal info as seller information? So from what I understand, that even though you are registering as part of a company, you still need to provide your personal information. Am I right, Ivan?
Yeah, so even if you're signing up as a company, there needs to be a specific person who does the registration, right? You do not have to be the owner of the company to do it. Of course, get approval from the owner that you're doing this Amazon account, right? But that needs to be offline together with your corporate processes, right? But it doesn't have to be the owner. As a matter of fact, once you select that you're signing up as a business, one of the pages asks you if you are the owner of the business or if you are a representative of the business, right? So do check that and do click the correct boxes, right? So both cases are fine. You might be the owner of the business, go ahead and register. You might not be the owner of the business, but the owner of the business has given you the rights or has given you the go ahead offline to start selling on Amazon or create a selling account. That is completely fine. You can set up the account and you will be the registrant for that specific account on behalf of the business.
Thank you, Ivan. All right, the next question I received is, what is the tax rate imposed for items sold in USA via marketplace? All right, I'm doing processed food, so I do need to meet USA labeling requirements. If yes, please advise accordingly. Right, again, regarding taxes, right, once you got the access, you can search for the UX tax. Now, as far as I'm aware, different jurisdictions and states in the US may have different tax requirements. All right, so once you're on that link, you can look it through, and then also we also encourage you to work with your tax professional to determine if there's any impact to your business regarding the taxes. Now, regarding labeling, yes, for food or any other product, there might be different labeling requirements. This can also be found under the FBA packing requirements as well for food. Then again, to get a better understanding of what exactly you need for the labeling and packing, right, you need to know what kind of food you are selling. Is it is it food that will melt or is it food that is organic, etc.? There might be different requirements, and also things like the expiry dates. Remember, that is something applicable as well. Your product will need to be able to show the expiry date, etc. So that's all available depending on what product you are selling at. All right, next question is, any remittance of payout from Amazon to my account in Singapore I'm sorry, it's about remittance or payout from Amazon.com to in Singapore. Please advise mode of remittance, any other charges besides USA tax. Okay, from what I see, right, the payout you will get will be the payout that you see in your Amazon the statement view or the dashboard. All right, that will exclude any bank fees that may be imposed on you. And the remittance mode is via the bank transfer. I think Ivan showed earlier on as well on the step that you need to provide your right banking details, all right, banking details that can process or that can take in US currency, all right, and then that should work. All right, so if you want to see the breakdown in terms of what exactly in the final payout, right, that is something you have to see in your Seller Central account. So if you go into the statement view under the breakdown detail level, you can see what are the fees, for all your product that is being sold. What is the referral fee? What is the packing or labeling fee, etc. If you do use those fees. All right, and what is the FBA fee, storage fee, etc. will be available in your Seller Central under the reports. All right, so the next question, I do see a few more questions. Now, the next question is, can I create an account even if the product I plan to sell don't have the needed documents and certification yet? So yes, you can create an account first. All right, during account registration, as what you've seen earlier on, the process won't be asking any form of certification for your listing yet. All right, so in fact, a lot of a seller would go ahead and create an account first, because once they have the account, they can actually get access to Product Opportunity Explorer for them to research on what other products that they would like to sell on Amazon.com. So that is something doable as well, because you will be able to get access to the tools available. So yep, it's a separate process. All right, you can create an account, and at the same time you can do your own research on what you want to sell, or even prepare your certification if you know what you need to have for the certification. Okay, the next question is, do you have a WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat where I can contact an account manager in guiding me in this Amazon journey? Okay, we do have a Telegram, but you won't be able to reach out to the account manager on the Telegram. So the Telegram is a seller community led kind of Telegram where a lot of sellers are there to share their their finding, their experiences, as well as we have a Facebook seller community page as well that you can sign up. All right, so the link is on the QR code that you see over here on the screen. All right, you scan the QR code or you go to the link there. All right, then you can move on. There's a section about Telegram. All right, so in order to join a Telegram, you will first need to have an account. So what it means that you will have to complete the registration so that you will be able to share your MCID in the Telegram to be accepted into the Telegram. So this to ensure that those in Telegram are all legitimate seller and not some other people, which is why we have a process to review whoever joins the Telegram to ensure a good experience. All right. So as to account manager, like what Eva mentioned, once you went through the SIV process, you will receive an email and then reply to the email. All right, you will get your account manager. So if you really do not get an account manager, before I end, I'm going to share the email on the chat. So do stay tuned for that email that I'm going to share that you can reach out to. All right, the next question. Where is the Amazon central warehouse in the US where can send our items and for Amazon to fulfill order for us? Okay, there is actually quite a number of fulfillment center in the US. You probably know by now it's very big. Now the US address, right, will really depends on when you create your shipment plan, right? This assuming when you ask for the warehouse, I'm going to take it as you're going to send your items by using fulfillment by Amazon, right? So you're going to create a shipment plan to ship in your product to Amazon US warehouse. So that will depends on what kind of item you are shipping in, how much of the stocks you are shipping, etc., and where you are shipping from. And then at the back end, Amazon will be able to give you the best warehouse depending on the availability of the storage size of the warehouse, etc. All right. So there's no way to tell until the shipment plan is created. All right, so yeah, so I hope that answer your questions. All right, so regardless of which warehouse that you're automatically being assigned to, they'll be able to fulfill your orders regarding where your customer is in the US. All right, one more question. Can I select Philippines as my business location, then later on change it to SG and VV? I don't know VV means what is it? Vietnam or something, but I think the question is more of can you change your business location, select one location and then later on change it to another location. Would Eva be able to help on this?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you need to consider when doing this, right? So the short answer is yes, you can do it. You can select a country, and then if your business changes location, you can change the location. However, there are a couple of things that you have to consider. First of all, whenever you change the legal entity of your business, you might be triggered what I went through, that was seller performance review, right? And this is essentially Amazon making sure that the location that you are changing is really accurate, right? So you might be asked to provide new documentation proving that your business has actually changed location from the Philippines to Singapore and from Singapore to Philippines, or vice versa, right? So do keep that in mind, right? So if you are about to do the change, please make sure you have either the incorporation documents or documents to prove that the company has actually, or the individual has actually changed country. Point number two, the account manager that you might have when you sign up as your location in Philippines might not be the same as the one that is currently selected for Singapore, right? So keep that in mind as the account manager might change, right? So there are some points to consider. These are the main two considerations. Apart from that, everything is pretty much the same. You shouldn't be concerned in terms of disbursements. If you have an online banking system, you can still get your disbursements in a Philippine account if that account is active, even if you're residing in another country. What I do suggest, if you are, for example, a digital nomad or somebody who travels a lot and lives in different countries, is to have an online banking service provider, because that's just easier to access from different countries, right? Because that's their whole value point and selling proposition, right? So again, points to consider, but everything is possible, so no issues.
All right, thank you, Ivan. And then I just put in the email on the chat already, so do copy if you have not. Now, again, just want to highlight again, the email, when you send it in, right, there will be an auto response. Do make sure you respond to everything in the auto email response, only that the right person will be able to contact you. Now, so very, very thank you everyone for having your time with us today, and thank you, Ivan, for joining. Have a good day, everyone. See you all in the next webinar. Do remember to sign up. All right. See you again. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day. Cheers. Happy New Year.